Look at this gorgeous new couture handbag that Joe and I just made. I'm using it as my personal handbag right now, and I love it because of these features. First of all, this top zipper panel that keeps my stuff secure. I put some heavy interfacer in it so the bag can stand on its own, and I have a built-in organizer, long sturdy straps, and some hidden pockets on the inside and on the outside. Now let's see how we make the bag. To make the bag, you'll need 2 complementary fabric for the top, border, and base for the outside and the lining of the bag. Whatever fabric you use for the top outer part of the bag, you will use for the straps, zipper panel, and a hidden zippered pocket which will be accessible from the outside. The 2 different fabrics used for the lining will also be used to make a hidden zippered pocket accessible from the inside of the bag and a patch pocket that will serve as an organizer. So let's see what we have so far. For the top part of the outside and the lining of the bag, I've cut a rectangular piece that measures 22.5 inches wide by 9 inches tall. And for the border, I've cut another rectangular piece that measures 22.5 inches wide by 5 inches tall. After we attach the border to the top, it becomes a rectangle, but the bag sits with somewhat of a V shape on the bottom. So in order to create that, all I have to do is fold my rectangle in half like this, and then measure 2 inches in towards the bottom. Use a long ruler to go up into the diagonal, into the peak, and then cut off the excess fabric. Now this is the lining part, and what I've done is measure 2 inches down and put a line right across on the 2 pieces of the lining, because this is where we're going to receive our zip panel. All right, so the zip panel has to be a little bit less than the whole top of the bag because we need seam allowance. So the top part of the bag is 22.5, so the zip panel is 18 inches long by 2.5 inches wide, and we need 4 pieces. All right guys, so this is the outer part of the bag, and you've seen me make this style of bag before, but this one's gonna have a lot of bells and whistles. This is gonna be the lining of the bag. Of course we need the bottom, the base, but I'm just showing you this part because what Joe is gonna do is sew all this. So I put it pretty side to pretty side, and I made sure that when I opened it up, the pattern's going the way I want it to go. So he's just gonna sew this. I've already base stitched it just to show you guys. He's gonna sew that, he's gonna sew that, and we're gonna set this aside and work on just the lining because, like I said, this bag's gonna have a lot of bells and whistles, so he's gonna have a lot of pockets. All right, so let Joe sew this and I'll be right back. After attaching the border to the top part of the bag for all 4 pieces, all I have to do is go ahead and iron open my seams. Now let's take care of the hidden pocket that's going to go into the lining of the bag. Now I've created a video here at the side already where I show you how to put these hidden pockets in, but I'm going to try to run through it quickly again so you don't have to go searching for that video separately. So first of all, we have to make sure that the pocket sits underneath this line, because this line is where the zip panel is going to go. So the pocket has to sit centrally on the correct side of the lining fabric, and the zip that I'm going to use is a 7-inch zip, so the opening for the zip has to be 1 inch less than the zip itself. And all I had to do is measure 1 inch from the top of the fabric for the pocket, and then draw a box that's 6 inches long by 1 inch tall, and then I put a line right down the middle, and then I pin it onto the fabric for the liner, and then I have Joe sew outside the perimeter of the box. After he's done, I cut along the middle line, and then I shove the fabric through because this is one part of the pocket, and then I iron it open, and then I base stitch the zip into the opening or the gap, and then Joe sews it with the sewing machine. At this point, I put on the second piece of fabric for the back part of the pocket, and I have Joe sew right around and around to seal it up, and voila, we have a hidden pocket for the lining of the bag. Now let's take care of the other pocket, which is going to be the patch pocket or the organizer in the bag. So I've just folded my fabric the long way, correct side to correct side. My fabric is 10 inches tall, but it's a little bit wider than my bag because I'm using leftover fabric from another project, and I just figure I would cut it after. So Joe's going to sew along the seam, and then I'm going to flip it over. I should really iron out my seam first, but it'll be fine. So let me flip it over, and then we're going to iron this. And we're not going to iron it right at the seam. We're going to move the seam in a little bit, so it's a little bit offset, because it's going to make it lay better on the bag if you do it like this. See, it's a little bit off. See the seam right there? All right, so we're going to set it on the lining of the bag. This is the opposite side of the lining, or the second part of the lining. And we don't want it right towards the bottom of the bag. So just a little bit above the bottom. And then I'm pinning because now Joe's going to sew close to the edge as he can for the bottom part, all right? I'll show you guys right now how it's sitting. So see? Not quite at the bottom of the bag, but a little bit up, right? Now after Joe sews it, he's going to divide it up into sections according to what I need. So I need my umbrella, my glasses case, checkbooks, cell phone, so on. So he's going to mark with his marking chalk right here. And then he's going to sew double lines to separate the pockets or the dividers. And he does double lines because it makes the pockets stronger or sturdier, all right? So this is how it's going to look. See? We've got our little dividers going on the second half of the lining. Because I want my bag to stand up like this, I can't use this, all right? Because this is not as sturdy. This is what I put in this bag. You may have seen this video already at the site. So this bag, I mean, it stands a little, but it's more floppy than this. And sometimes I want my bag to be a little bit floppier, but sometimes I want it sturdy, like this one. So I went out and bought this from the craft store. This was 1.5 yards. It's very narrow. It's not like 45 wide like material, or even 60 wide. So because it's very narrow, you don't get a whole lot of it. For 1.5 yards, it was $14.99, but because it was Black Friday sale, I got it for $5.99. So I feel like I won. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. Let me get this out the way. This is the bag I'm using right now. So we have 2 pieces for the outside of the bag, and we're going to put this heavy interfacer on it, and then this is the base. We're going to put it on that too. These are the straps. I don't think I can use this thick one on it because the straps will not be flexible, so I'm going to use this one on the straps. All right, and then I made the straps super long. Take a look. See, the straps, the bag's going to come all the way here. Now this one is not as long. See, this one, you can wear it like that or use it like that, but it starts hurting under your armpits, so I mostly carry it like this. But this one's going to be able to be carried on my shoulder. So let me show you what we need. We've been working on this bag for days, all right? So we have 2 straps, the 2 outer layer, the base. I'm going to put a pocket that we can zip right here to get in the front of the bag. This is what we have for the lining. The lining already has a zipped pocket, little secret zip pocket. Can you guys see that? And then this is the opposite side of the lining. It has patch pocket, but it's not going to be like the patch pocket in that bag. I put it lower because I want to be able to put my checkbooks, my umbrella, my phone, and so on. So I'm trying a different type of patch pocket on this one. And then it has a zip panel, and I have a separate video showing you guys how to do the zip panel. And the zip panel is going to go there. All right, we're going to do that in a little while. Oh, this is the base. We don't need to interface any of the lining, just the outer shell. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's cut our thick interface and iron on to the straps and everything else. And then when I come back, we'll be putting the pocket in this outer layer, okay? I'm going to go ahead and cut the interfacer the exact size of the pieces for the outside part of the bag, but then I'm going to go ahead and cut it a 1/2 inch in around and around because I need seam allowance because it's kind of hard to sew through the interfacer. Now we're going to put that inside pocket on the outside of the bag now that Joe has ironed on the interfacer. And the outside pocket, again, I've showed you before. It's going to be 6 inches for this box, 6 inches by 1. Because the zip is 7, and then there's a line straight down the middle for this box, and the box is drawn on the wrong side of the fabric for the pocket. Joe's going to sew around and around the outer perimeter of the box, and it's sitting correct side to correct side, all right? The correct side of the pocket to the correct side of the bag. Then I'm going to cut it carefully, shove the fabric through because this is one part of the pocket. I have to carefully iron because I can't mess up my interfacer. Then I base stitch the zip in the gap, and then Joe sews it in with the machine, and I remove the base stitching, so now it's all pretty. And then he did a top sew right here just to add an accent to the bag. And it doesn't matter if you can't sew really straight, all right? It's your bag. So now put the second half of the pocket onto the back side of the pocket here, and then Joe's going to sew around to seal up this pocket completely. It's kind of crooked because the cloth was fighting back with the interfacer. Now I'm going to use this to interface the straps of the bag because I can't use that thick interfacer or the straps won't be flexible. So Joe ironed it on with the steam iron. That's all you need. He's going to fold the strap completely in half, and then remember the straps are only 2 inches wide. And then after he gets that line, he folds these ends in toward the line, and then he just folds everything in half again, and he sews along both sides of the straps. So the straps are done. Yes, let's get this out the way. Now this is the base of the outside of the bag. I've bent the base in half and made a line on each end, and he's just going to go ahead and use this line that I made to pin it right into the seam. So the base of the bag is smaller than the bag itself because the base is only 14 wide or long by 4. All right, so it's kind of hard to do because of this thick interfacer, but you're gonna have to fight it. So he's trying hard to just fight and pin it, and I'm trying to help while running the camera. After he pins the first end, then he just goes ahead and pins the second end, and then you're gonna have to sew around and around very carefully. So I'm glad we did the seam allowance so we don't have to sew through all that interfacer because the needle will break if you do that. So now this is the zipper panel we're going to attach to the lining of the bag, and I have a video at the side already showing you guys how to do that because this video is going to get too long if I do that again. So 1 inch from the ends, and he's adding, well, putting the zipper panel onto the second half of the liner because we already put it on the first half, and then he just goes ahead and sews along the edge. So now it looks like this. The zipper is the thing holding the bag together so far. Well, the lining of the bag. We have our patch pocket. We have our little hidden pocket. So now all he has to do is sew up the sides while making sure that his seams are left in the open position. And then he's going to put the bottom on the same way we did the bottom for the outside panel, where he pins both ends and then sews around, but he leaves a gaping hole to turn it over. This is the strap, and it goes on the outside of the bag right on the outer edges of the zip. Pin it. Then he's going to attach the straps on the front and the back of the bag like this. See? Right at the top, right at the edge. So now all that's left to do is put the bag together. So we're going to shove the outside part of the bag into the liner. And I want to make sure of how my zip is going. I want to make sure where the front of the bag is. But you know what? I can tell by the hidden pocket inside. The hidden pocket is on the front of the bag. So let's shove. The outer bag is on the correct side, and then the lining is on the wrong side. Just shove it in there, making sure that the seams line up on the edge. Also making sure that the straps are on each respective side of the bag but inside the liner. So take a look at the turnover hole. Joe left a larger than normal turnover hole because this bag has the stiffener, and I think we're going to have some difficulty getting it through. So I'm checking my little hidden pockets. I'm so thrilled with my hidden pockets, guys. So what Joe's going to do now is sew around the top part of the bag with a 1/2 inch seam allowance so we can attach the lining to the outer part of the bag before we turn it over, okay? Joe's going to pull the bag through, guys.
That's going to be a pain. But they're going to try.
Because of the stiffener that's in it. He left a big hole.
Got me sweating. Okay.
Now that it's turned over and the lining is on the inside of the bag, I'm going to have him do a top sew around the top, making sure not to trap his straps, and then he's going to sew that hole in the lining shut, alright? Okay guys, it's finally done. It's ready. Look, 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 look. It's pretty, isn't it? I'm moving it so fast. Alright, so to do the outside part, you need like a yard of fabric. This doesn't look like a whole yard, but remember we had to do a zip panel out of that material and these long straps, all right? So 1 yard of fabric for the outside, and some other color you could get away with probably half a yard for the outside, but I had remnants. And let me show you the inside. So this will keep all my stuff secure so nobody can rip me off in this season. Let me get out my organizer and take a look inside. See, I didn't want to just have some weak patch pocket. I wanted to have an organizer, like a built-in on the inside. See, the bottom is two-tone, and I do have this little pocket right here for me to put away my cards when I'm out shopping quickly and securely. This I would only put receipts, so the two pockets are back to back. See, I have a receipt in here already. I always have a post office receipt. Yeah, so these are the things I take with me. And I suppose I could trade out, maybe if I don't take my checkbook that day, I could put my phone in there or something. But slap your organizer in. By the way, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want me to show you how to make this organizer. You guys know what I mean. Put it in the comments if you want me to show you how to make this organizer. So look, the bag can, when you saw it stand by itself just now without the organizer in it. So it can stand by itself because that thing is thick, the interfacer. Put the organizer in, grab it, zip it up, and you're ready to go. See? Oh, look, long straps that it's not jammed up under your armpits, so you can hold it like this. Big tote. It's big enough that you might get stopped in some stores and like, ma'am, your bag's too big. But you know what? The minute they look in it, they can see what you're carrying. So this thing right here, I got 1.5 yards. It was $14.99. If it had not been on sale I got it for $5.99. But see, I didn't have enough left over to do anything else with it. So this bag would be pretty costly. It would be around $30 for the materials to make this bag. But look at it this way. You have a bag that you want, a bag that you made. It's beautiful, and you have all the built-ins that you desire, right? So you see that you can do different things with it. You could change this zip pocket right here could be on the back of the bag instead of in the front, and then the other built-in could be on the front, you know, vice versa. So if you guys like what I've produced, please go ahead, like, share, comment. And of course, don't forget to follow or subscribe, all right? I'll see you guys next video. Bye.